I think that the equity on physical beauty when it comes to women are defined predominantly by the male gaze. And that makes it confusing, that, oh my gosh, your waist is not the right size, or your height's not the right size, or you look a certain way, that makes you beautiful, or that doesn't make you beautiful. So that being judged by the male gaze and the beauty standards that have been created by patriarchal norms, because women have for a very long time lived as secondary citizens, that's hard. But when it came to me, my pageant, it gave me a springboard that I probably wouldn't have had. So individualistically for me, now as I look back in retrospect, I don't think I would ever be a part of a pageant now, this 40-year-old me. But at that time, it was very, very empowering for a small town girl in a massive stage with 96 contestants being viewed around the world. It just felt like, wow, my life has suddenly changed. The cameras were like that, and now it's all on me. So that was a very empowering feeling. But more than that, it was a springboard to the entertainment business, which I don't think I would have ever had or chosen if that hadn't happened to me.
So you said if you had to go back as the person you are now, you wouldn't.
No.
Why?
I just don't want competition like that. I don't want to now. At my age, I don't want to be judged for my body type or if I can give a quick-witted answer in 60 seconds while the dong is going. There are complexities around pageants, and they can be highly empowering. But there's a lot that needs to change for them to be that way.
So winning that pageant, gave you the foot in at the door, so to speak, in Bollywood, but it wasn't immediate acceptance or success. It's an industry in which, even today, I would say, to a large extent, the notion of beauty has got to do with, the color of your skin, a certain body shape. Did you ever feel like you were body shamed?
Oh, absolutely. I was called black cat, dusky. What does even dusky mean? In a country of all dusky people. I mean, we're literally brown in India, but we still have so much equity on light skin. And of course, that comes from our colonial past. It comes from, it's not even been 100 years that we've shed the British Raj. So we still hold on to, I think, what we were made to feel subliminally. And it is up to us and our generation to be able to cut those ties and change it for the next generation so that they don't inherit the equity on light skin. They don't inherit the gender equality that we probably thought was normal. I thought it was completely normal and absolutely okay to sit for hours and hours on set while my male co-actor just took his own time, decided whenever he wanted to show up on set is when we would shoot. It was normal, when fairness commercials came by and it was a really big shiny brand. It was normal for actors, to male and women, to say, oh, wow, I have glowy white skin now. There was nothing wrong around it. When I was 21, 22, I did think that I was dark-skinned. I did think that I was not pretty enough. I did think that I would have to work a lot harder, even though I thought I was probably a little bit more talented than my co-actors who were lighter skinned. I thought that was right. I thought that because it was so normalized. So I think as I grew up, I saw things in my career that I didn't even know were right or wrong. And I had to be educated and learn along the way.
You studied in the US. You've written in your book about how you faced racism then, but that wasn't the only time, Almost 2 decades later, I think you also faced racism again when your first song released in the US. Did it hurt as much both times? And what was different about how you dealt with it?
Well, I think that racism is prevalent wherever we go. And I think that when I was younger, I didn't have the mental equipment to be able to deal with how that made me feel. I felt smaller, I felt invisible, I felt like I didn't deserve to be treated the same way as everyone else because I thought that that's what my reality was. When I was in school, this is like 14, 15, you're an adolescent in America, and I felt like, oh my gosh, maybe being different does make me less than. But as I grew up, I saw that I'm actually I'm a lucky one. that, yeah, sure, I faced racism. People called me names or, said mean things to me. But people around the world get killed for it, for the color of their skin. And I count myself as the lucky one, part of the lucky few that are able to stand up for themselves and have a voice for themselves.
You've also been very vocal about the pay gap, and let's talk about that for both the industries that you're a part of. But let's start with Bollywood. What's been your experience of that?
Well, I've never had pay parity in Bollywood. I've done 60-something movies, I think, but I've never got paid the same amount as my male co-actor. I just about, after 22 years of working, now finally in my show Citadel, finally had that. But that took 22 years.
And when you say you didn't have pay parity, I mean, how different was it,
Like I would get paid about 10% of my male co-actor.
Wow.
It's large, substantially large. And so many girls still deal with that.
And
I'm sure I will too if I worked with a male co-actor now in Bollywood.
So that was my next question. Has it changed at all, or is it changing?
It's changing, but I don't think it's changed. I think even if I do that now, if I worked in a movie with a male co-actor as a co-lead, I mean, I'll let you know when I do a movie like that, because I'm gonna do that as a social experiment. But I don't think I would get the same remuneration as a male co-actor.
And is Hollywood any different?
Well, it's the first time it's happened to me. It has happened in Hollywood. So I don't know going forward, because this was my first show with someone as a co-lead in Hollywood. After 10 years of working in Hollywood, I'm finally doing lead parts. It took a really, really long time, a lot of pavement pounding to be able to get roles that in a mainstream way. And I always wanted to be a part of mainstream entertainment, whether that was in Bollywood or Hollywood. So it takes a long time anyway, but it took a really, really long time for me to be able to get to a part where I am doing leading roles and then to be able to command that kind of parity. But yeah, I've seen that there. I just don't know going forward if it will continue or not. I'll keep you posted on that one too.
One of the things I've heard, and it was said by a man, is that women don't get paid as much as men because women don't ask.
No, that's not true. We've asked. We've asked many, many times. My generation of female actors have definitely asked. It's been conversations, and I know that because a lot of my colleagues are my friends, and we've talked about it. That, their representation, because girls are a little bit afraid that they'll lose work if they are troublesome. That's another thought process that exists in, I think, not just Bollywood, but in any patriarchal culture, that girls should just be easy to work with, always be smiling, pleasant, they should never complain. And I behaved like that for a very long time, till I kind of found my own footing, and I was kind of okay with doing smaller movies that I shouldered on my own shoulders and not having to cater or pander to the male actors or their needs and whatever their diva behavior. And then I kind of found my own voice and said, you know what, it's okay to do a smaller film rather than stand for that kind of treatment. So I don't know how much it is changing, but girls have definitely asked and not got it.